everybody. Welcome to another video-sode, pod-a-sode, whatever the hell we're called, of Between the Sheets podcast. We're on the first and third Friday of every month at 7 p.m. Pacific on the United Broadcasting Network. We have Tony. Believe it or not, Tony, the station owner, is running the boards for us. I think it's because he wanted to meet Sharon Gless.
Hi, Tony.
Fucking hats. That's our guest tonight. You can follow us on Instagram, QTE Brat. Follow or like our Facebook page. We will take call-ins. Sharon's 3 hours ahead, so she'll be on for the whole fucking time. So
I took a Ritalin and I have a cup of coffee.
All right. And so if you want to call in, it's 323-524-2599. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of calls tonight. Yeah. So please be patient. Do not hang up. It's not like a normal phone thing. It's an internet shit, and it's all internet shitty. Mm-hmm. So just be prepared. But if you hung up, it's not like we blew you off. Please call back. 323-524-2599. I'll introduce the girls. We have back amazing comedian, beautiful woman. And you can find her online on Facebook every single day with her chats. That is Jenny McNulty.
Yay! Well, thank you, Gaye Ann. Very, very, very happy to be here. What is it like in the future? You're 3 hours ahead. Tell us.
I know, it's very dark. It's very dark.
Also, one of my goddess sisters, looking stunning and half naked, as we like it, as always, Cara Noble. Cara, what are you doing?
Cara. Good evening, all. I've been very busy organizing all my broken pieces for my next mosaic, but I just wanted to say I wish we would go back a few hours and Ruth Bader Ginsburg was not dead.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I know. And then, of course, Cheryl Murphy, our resident medium, guidance counselor, therapist. Who knows? So
oh my God!
You've been doing a lot of internet stuff with all your things. What else is going on?
Doing a lot. Well, I'm an author now in a compilation book. So you've been seeing me a lot. Yay. It's called The Last Breath on Amazon. You'll be seeing a lot of me right now on live Facebook, but I'm so happy to be here. And I just honor all of you goddesses, and Sharon, I'm so honored. Thank you. I'm just worked out that I'm here tonight. I love the synchronicity that we're together and I get to meet you.
Cheryl, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so now
a compilation of books. Is that like a whole shitload of books?
It's like a whole mess of authors. Yep, everybody.
So that is the Merriam-Webster definition, actually, a whole shitload.
Speaking of books, I'll take you down memory lane very, very, very quickly with Sharon. Sharon, I worked on, when I first started CBS in 1989, yes, that's how long I've been there. I've always was a fan of Cagney and Lacey, and I've been at CBS so long, that everyone's like, so you worked on Cagney and Lacey? I'm like, no, I'm not that old. But not. But I always, as every lesbian did, they had everybody loved, Lacey, but every lesbian was in love with Cagney. And I was one of those because she's a blonde and we like blondes. But in any event, I moved to California, got a wonderful job at CBS, still here, and actually in my office today, and I'll explain that later, doing the podcast. And one of the first shows I was assigned to for a pilot, and I'd never done this job before, was a show that Sharon's husband, Barney Rosenzweig, produced called The Trials of Rosie O'Neill.
Oh my God.
And of course, I was like, she was one of the first celebs that I ever met and had to talk to. So having a kind of crush on her and oh my God, pinching myself that I ended up in this business. My first day on set, I think I vomited. I really did before I went in her trailer to meet her.
You did not.
Oh my God.
I did. I vomited a little. And I was so
just in your mouth.
Just in my mouth. Just a little bit. Yeah. And what ensued was, they used to film downtown in little Tokyo. And I remember, and we worked at CBS on Beverly and Fairfax. And Sharon and I hit it off so much, and she took such care of me in a way, because I was a deer in headlights. that
Oh my
almost
God.
every single night after I left my job at 5:30, I drove the opposite way to go home to always end my night in her trailer on their set because she made me feel welcome. Unfortunately, she already
Oh.
picked booze. She already was on the wagon with everything. So it wasn't
I
fun.
was.
You were. You had just stopped drinking. You still were smoking though. That was cool. But she used to bring a few of us into her dressing room in her trailer. It was a trailer, and ply us with
The
martinis.
bar was open.
Yep, you plied us with martinis.
The
And
bar was
cigarettes.
open in my trailer.
And so who wouldn't, as a 20-something-year-old, want to like live? I was living the dream. But that really budded a friendship. And she is a mentor. And she took me to Musso and Frank's. She just showed me what Hollywood was and the right way. And she wasn't a bitch. She didn't stab me in the back like a lot of them. She just was really very supportive. And that moved on to, after Rosie O'Neill, then we decided CBS to do the movies of the week. And we did the Cagney and Lacey movies.
Oh, that's right. My God, you know me better than I do.
I know. And you were sober, for Christ's sake. And
No, that was the problem.
that was the problem. And so, and then, she used to have a beach house in Broad Beach. And
Sure did.
and that house was kind of like she would, like, I was there, not all the time, but she was gracious enough to come there, which was the first time before the movies of the week.
I have those pictures that you took.
I know.
There.
And you're probably still using them because you look the same. And
Yes.
and I will never forget, we were in her living room, or it was just a really cool fucking house. And all of a sudden, like, the doorbell rang because there were no cell phones. And who shows up on your doorstep but Tyne Daly? Now I knew.
Well, let me tell you, I talked to her today.
Did
and
you?
she sends her love to you.
But that was
She
like,
called me today and I told her what I was doing.
no, yeah. So then I was totally like, oh my God, I'm with Cagney and fucking Lacey. Oh my God. And we just had so much fun. But and again, moving forward, we did the Cagney and Lacey, and Sharon and I have always been in touch here and there. But you mean the world to me. You always have. I love you. I always have loved you. I've always appreciated what you've done for me. Even though you have
Well,
no idea
back
what you
at
did
you.
for me. So
Back at you, because you always took care of me. Always. I had to suck up to you. I needed a good picture.
I had to suck up because I thought we'd be in bed together at some point, or at least I'd get that tongue from you, for Christ's sake.
We laughed so hard in those. Oh my God, we laughed so hard. I can't believe you're still there.
I'm
Wow.
lucky I'm still there. I'm lucky they haven't thrown my old ass out, But that is sort of how. So Sharon and I have had a friendship since 1989, and that doesn't happen a lot.
Wow.
So now she lives in Florida. She's still happily married, which is a huge testament to
Amazing.
you and
Amazing.
Want to know the secret to my marriage?
Yes.
Separate bathrooms.
Nice.
Totally. And never spend too much time in the same city at the same time. I travel a lot. Now I've been home here for 6 months. It's just starting to turn bad. But we've been really very loving and sweet to each other and sort of amazed at it. And now it's just starting to get a little ugly.
This is an English expression. Are you having Barneys with Barney?
Am I having Barney's?
Barney.
Barney?
It means rouse, having a row.
I've never-
It's English.
Oh, yes.
Having
It
a
was
Barney
round
night. Having a
So
Barney
it's
with
fight
Barney.
night at the Rosenswags. Fight night at the Rosenswags.
I'm really glad that story turned out good because it started out really stalkery. First I was on the one set and then I followed you over.
Oh no, this is the kid.
I'm a kid.
Kid.
But she was the first one. It's like I told you the other day, there were 3 actresses in my very beginning at CBS that sort of took me under their wing. And it was Sharon, Suzanne Plachette, and Audrey Meadows. And
What
all-
good company am I in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they all said to me, "You're abroad." And I knew once they said I was abroad, I knew I was going to survive in this fucking town.
You belong.
So-
That's right.
So, but enough about the whole story. So now you guys know how long Sharon and I have known each other. But, look, she was Cagney and Lacey was huge. Emmy, Emmy nominated, Emmy winning, everything. Then you did a whole bunch of movies. You did theater in London. You know, you're an accomplished actress, and that's before. I mean, that, and you had such a volume of work even before Cagney and Lacey. That was stellar. And then you went on to.
I'm not used to you plugging me.
I can't help it. I should have been a publicist, for Christ's sake.
Hey,
Where's Heidi? Where's Heidi when you need her?
no kidding.
I know. Heidi Schaefer was her publicist.
Remember Heidi?
Yep.
First Pat Kingsley, and then Heidi.
And then Heidi. And then what happened is, you know, then she sort of did movies of the week in theater, and then she landed on a very groundbreaking LGBT plus LMNOP show on Showtime.
Brought me back.
Brought her back, and that was
Brought me back.
And
Queer as Folk.
Oh, Queer as Folk, right? Yes.
Right.
And it was originally based, I think, on an English series, a
Queer
British
as Folk.
series, and then the United States, and then Showtime. And there you made your mark as Debbie Novotny, everybody's favorite mom, everybody's P-Flag, just such supportive. And you weren't really, I mean,
I'm always surprised when people say everybody's favorite mom. She was total goose to her son. I mean, she gave him shit all the time.
Well, yeah,
but there was that undying love. It was the acceptance. It was the, all right, I'm going to give you shit because you're a jerk, but you know, I'm gonna love you for who you are. I don't care that you're gay, and or not mean it that way, but you know, it was just the acceptance and the way you embraced.
One of people's favorite lines of Debbie's was, "I told Michael he was gay, so he didn't have to tell me."
Yeah,
nice. And I'm sure
that show,
I didn't write it. I just got to say it.
Doesn't matter. You might as well take credit for it, because the way you delivered it.
Yeah, there you go. It's all in the delivery.
It's all in the delivery, not the writing. Who gives a shit?
How many times do you say that to your partner? Right? It's not what you said. It's how
you say it.
You know, and that was a groundbreaking show. And you know, like I said, I mean, Jenny.
That changed my life. That show.
You know what? It changed
a lot of lives, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, you know, and then you did that, and then you carried on, and then you were on Burn Notice.
I didn't want you to have to refer to your notes. I was going to say, want me to give you the next one?
No, I know.
I just got it all there, man. I got it all going on.
I studied it, for Christ's sake.
You all look so beautiful, and I'm half in dark. Is it okay?
No, you look good.
I didn't know how to light these things.
Oh, you're gorgeous.
You're good. I just have the light from the office, so I've just got shitty light too. But in any event, I want to say, first of all, let's start with this. I was told how to say this.
Plugs.
You're welcome. It's only the beginning. I've got more for you, Sharon. It is Jewish holiday today. Today is Rosh Hashanah. So
happy New Year, everybody.
Shana Tova. Someone told me how to say it because I was saying Shana Tova, and they're like, "You're such a white girl. You're such a Catholic." I'm like, "Okay, happy Shana Tova."
Me too.
So there we go.
So how do you say it?
Shana Tova. It's like
Shana Tova.
It's like the thing is, my friend Roxy told me it's on the A, so I'm just following.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. And if I'm not saying it right, blame Roxanne Harris. And then you know, for some somber news, in a way, and you know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away today.
Godspeed to her.
Yeah, Godspeed to her. She was an enigma. She was wonderful. I mean, I think we all can.
She tried so hard to live until this election.
Yeah. Yes.
Believe me, she did.
What a wonderful woman.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, and, you know, like the thing is, you know, I don't want to talk about what could be. I think we just need to put out positivity in the universe that whatever happens will not set this country backwards more than it's set back with Trump as president. And let's hope his days are numbered. So everybody, vote blue. And I've always said this, and you know I'm honest. I'm not a huge fan of Biden. I'm just not. Okay? But I will not.
Well, get to be one.
Exactly. That's my point.
Become one.
My point is, I'm not a fan, but I know what I need to do, and that is to vote blue. So everybody, please get out and vote. I can't imagine any Republicans watching this fucking show. First of all, you've got half lesbians and half liberals. So I don't know who. Yeah,
lesbians.
I'm not lesbian. But these two, oh no, Cheryl isn't either. Jenny.
No, Cheryl and Cara are straight. They're breeders.
In fact,
It's not, it's not your fault, you guys. You were born that way.
Exactly. Thank you.
I've never had children. Never wanted them.
So everybody, you're watching Between the Sheets here on United Broadcasting Network with our wonderful guest, my friend Sharon Gless. Please call in for questions, 323-524-2599. So Sharon, and I'll let everybody
You can hear the phone just ringing.
You know what? You know what? Some people are
don't wish for it. Don't.
Some people are scared to call in. I don't understand. But what, like, I know, okay, this, I love this because I'll mention it.
Everybody thought I had died, so I think they're in shock. Is she still around?
Yes, no, you're not dead. You're the hottest looking Gemini. I'm
sitting down.
That's twice the compliment then.
You're a little older than me, so we're all in the same boat. We're all getting older. Nobody's getting.
I say my age.
All right, how old are you? Why don't you tell them? Go ahead.
77.
Never.
Way. No.
Whoa.
77 years old.
Nice one, baby.
Isn't she beautiful? I think so.
I don't mean because what I look like. I mean, I feel, like I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
My mom's 92. She says the same thing. She's like, you never feel that you're.
Yeah. My mother used to say that too, and I didn't know what she was talking about, but now.
It's crazy. You go to Florida and you got like 95-year-old people with walkers going, those old people are fucking up traffic.
That's right. I'm sitting in Florida.
Right, there you go. You know what I mean?
I am right now.
No one is old in Florida. Am I right? Nobody was like,
no.
No.
So
a lot of bad lifts, Florida. Really.
So everybody, we can do with questions. I just want to plug Sharon one more time because I just have to say, Sharon is writing a book, or it's almost complete. It's hysterically funny. I haven't read it, but I know her, and she's a wonderful storyteller, and she is abroad, and she tells it like it is, and there's no sugarcoating it at all. So I'm looking forward to reading it, but my favorite is the title, and we're not allowed to tell a lot of stuff from the book, Sharon.
I thought it up.
Okay. Now it's called, what is it called, Sharon?
Apparently there were complaints.
Oh, I love that.
Is that good?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
How I came about this title is I was in Hazleton, which you're all too young to remember.
It's like Betty Ford.
There was a lot of press about it. Anyway, Hazleton is a drug and alcohol rehab place in the U.S. It's sort of the Harvard of the rehabs.
Isn't it like Betty Ford was? I bet the Betty Ford clinic, or was it different?
Betty Ford was fashioned after Hazleton.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, Betty Ford came to Hazleton to see how to do it. Anyway, I thought I was going to be sent to Betty Ford, but the doctor, and Elizabeth Taylor's doctor that they sent me to, said, I want you as far away from this industry you're in and anybody in it. I said, well, Elizabeth Taylor, you sent her to Betty Ford.
I've got a story about that. Go on though.
Okay. So anyway, he said Betty Ford, the brochure at Betty Ford is fantastic. I understand. I mean, she's done miracles. But the opening of Betty Ford's brochure is bring no scripts. And I'm serious, because so many people in our industry go to Betty. And at Hazleton, it's bring no reading material. And he didn't want me anywhere near any actors or anyone in the industry. And should I tell you a story?
Yeah.
Well, I tell it in my book.
All right.
Well, there's a bar right near Hazleton. And I said to my best friend at the time, she's now gone, but I said, let's stop in and have a goodbye drink. She said, great. So we pulled into this place. And the bartender makes me probably the finest martini I've ever had. Serious. And then I said, I'd like one more. Could I have it for the road, please? And I thought he'd think I was just going to go visit somebody at Hazleton. He knew who I was, or anyway, he called People Magazine as soon as I left.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Anyway, these are stories that I'm not supposed to tell. It's in my book.
No, but that's a teaser.
Yeah.
A teaser.
But anyway, when I got out of Hazleton, some friends said, "You were in Hazleton? What were you doing in Hazleton?" And I said, "Apparently there were complaints." And Barney laughed at it. He was sitting there when I said it. He laughed at it, and it's always been sort of the deal. And so that's the name of my book.
So
Can I tell you my Elizabeth Taylor story?
yes, please.
It's exactly that. I'm assuming the same kind of time. What year was that, Sharon?
Let's see, when did Cagney and Lacey end? 88?
Oh, right, 88. Okay.
88.
I think Elizabeth Taylor was there earlier in the 80s.
Yes, she was.
Because I happened to be in LA with my then husband, boyfriend, whatever, and he had a friend, and she was Elizabeth Taylor's helper, but she wanted to leave the country to renew her visa, you know. And so we were asked to look after Elizabeth Taylor's house while she was at Betty Ford. And we lived there for 3 days in her house. I don't think she ever knew. She had a parrot.
Yeah.
She had dogs. And it was beautiful. She had a whole wardrobe full of furs. And I tiptoed around it. It was extraordinary, amazing experience that I had because of Betty Ford.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, Elizabeth Taylor, she had done a long time ago. CBS used to have the Monday night lineup of all comedies, Designing Women, Murphy Brown, and I worked on it.
That's right.
A single one. And Elizabeth Taylor came out with a fragrance line, her first fragrance line. And I said, I think a great photo would be all of the CBS ladies of comedy with Elizabeth Taylor, because she was going to go from one series to another to another. So the whole Monday she made it, she was on every series.
Oh, great.
So I called Time.
Did she do it?
Hold on. Everybody here at CBS said she won't do it. You can't get her to do it. So I knew that one of her assistants was a big old queen that was a friend of mine. I totally bypassed Shen Sam, who was her girl, her woman, her publicist. And I said, she has to do this. I have to look good at CBS. So he put it in her ear. She said yes. I got the girls to do it. We did a quick photo shoot with her, and Time Magazine ran it because it was
oh my God.
Photo. And then, but before that, I had to go to her house to do photo approvals, and she was in her bedroom.
Yeah.
And I was summoned into the bedroom, and she goes, "Come right here." And I'm sitting in Elizabeth Taylor's bed doing photo approvals because that wasn't digital. It was like through a loop and film. And
oh my God.
I'm sitting here going, in what part of my life did I ever think I'd be sitting next to Elizabeth Taylor, no less in her bed, doing photo approvals? And she was so cool. She was.
You might have thought the first half, just not the photo approval part.
Right. For that.
I met her once. We had a. Do you remember when the Beverly Hilton had the Polynesian restaurant?
Oh, shit! Not Dantana's.
Trader
Vic's.
Trader Vic's.
Yeah,
Trader Vic's.
Yeah.
And the Queer as Folk gang, we were all doing a press thing in the bar that's like attached to this other private room, and I was peeking through the corrugated walls, because I knew it was Elizabeth Taylor's birthday, and she was in there. All men, not one woman was invited.
Wow.
And I'm peeking through, and these eyes are on the other side peeking at me. And it was that oh God, the dermatologist who fathered Michael
Todd? No.
Who fathered the singer. It's awful being old. Who fathered Prince and the singer, Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay.
He fathered Michael Jackson's children, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yes, I know who you mean.
He sire them, yeah. This famous dermatologist. So he took me in to meet Elizabeth, and I went over, and he said, "You can call her Elizabeth." I said, and I said, Elizabeth, I said, I'm Sharon Gless. She said, "Of course you are." I thought that's the coolest thing. She probably didn't know who in the fuck I was, but it was just such a neat thing to say. Of course you are.
Yeah.
Love it.
And I was, and I think I met your friend who was her assistant. It was the only woman in the room.
Yes.
Was she English? Because this woman was English.
Well, she didn't speak. She just, sat there. And
She may not have lasted because she shouldn't have done what she did, but it was those days when you used to be able to leave this country and go to Mexico and get a new visa. So you had to do that thing. But I was in the bedroom too, and she had I thought it was terribly zhuzh because she had a refrigerator in her bedroom.
well, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
No.
No, I'm just-
You know what though? I bet she did know who you were, Sharon, because she was a really big advocate for the gay community as well. So she probably watched Queer as
She
Folk. I'm
didn't
sure she knows exactly who
know
you were.
about Queer as Folk.
No, come on.
I swear to God. So
No
that's
way.
the end. But I didn't want to tell that as part of my story because it looks like sour grapes. I didn't say, of course, my work. I didn't say that. I just said, Elizabeth, happy birthday. And I'm such a fan. And, the boys around her table were saying, Elizabeth, you know her show, Queer as Folk. It's right up your alley. She said, no, I've never seen it. So they introduced her to it that night. So I don't know.
Wow.
Well, there
Hey,
you go.
Tony, do we still have a caller? Tony,
Is anybody called poor Sharon?
Tony.
Yes, we do.
We
All right,
did
put him on.
Probably Dawn.
No, it's not. It's not Dawn.
Oh,
Not done yet. Not done yet.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, Tony. Hello. It's Gaye Ann and the ladies of Between the Sheets and SHARON GLESS. Do we have a caller? Hello.
Yes, you do. Gaye Ann, it's Michael. Are guys allowed to call?
Yes, of course, guys.
Oh,
love to call.
yeah.
God damn it. Michael Weiss. Michael Weiss is on the line. Michael, what question do you want to
hi,
say?
Michael.
Well, Sharon, I'm calling to find out if you even still remember me. It's been 25 years.
Oh.
Oh, fuck.
Oh,
Forgive me, Michael.
Was
Where
it
did we meet?
sexual
Did we
harassment?
work together?
Yes, Eileen Dunn's friend, Michael from Rosie O'Neill.
Oh, my God. Hi, Michael. Eileen. Well, now she's Lena. Eileen still dresses me.
I still call her Eileen. How do you change your name in the middle of
I do
knowing
too.
something?
I do too. But she still dresses me. We still work together.
it's her midlife crisis.
I
she
know
changed
she's
her
in
name, I know.
Kennebunkport, Maine right now. Did you hear?
Hi, Michael. It's nice to talk to you again.
I know it. It's been so many years, but I have to thank you, Sharon, for the advice you gave me the day I met you when Eileen introduced us on the set and you asked me to be on the show, and somebody, I think it was your assistant, Brooke,
Yeah.
called Bill Dance Casting and requested me to be on the show as a regular, as one of the bullpen actors. And I remember you telling me, and I did become one. I was on the show with you for 2 years. And
So this was
you
this
told me
Rosie
that
O'Neill?
day,
Because that's when.
yeah,
Sorry. Okay.
yeah. I should send you, Gaye Ann, you'll have to show her a picture of me after.
Yeah.
But you told me to go home and be a big fish in a small pond because I did not want to get into that racket.
Now,
And,
what did I mean by saying be a big fish in a small pond?
She's old, Michael.
because I had just moved to LA from Carmel. And if you remember when we met, your mother and my mother were acquainted because they both lived in Carmel.
Oh my God, now I know. That's absolutely right. My mother lived in Carmel.
Yeah, and so did
I
mine.
went
and
to Santa Catalina School for Girls in Monterey for 4 years, a Dominican
That's right.
convent school.
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, well,
well, yeah. And so about 3 years later, I left LA. I had a great time, and every job I got was because of the crew from Rosie O'Neill. Remember Cynthia,
sure.
Stefanoni,
Of
and
course I do.
Sharon Miller?
AD.
Oh, Sharon calls me
director.
quite often.
They
I talk to Sharon.
Yeah, they
The
pulled
only
me
two
onto all the
Emmys
shows
I
that
ever
they
won were directed by Sharon Miller.
She was fantastic. She called me one day out of the blue and said, "Come and do a bit part on Sisters."
Oh, that's
I
great.
did.
I think it's important
and
we
then I
take
got
care
a
of
job
each
on a
other
show
in this
called,
business.
I got a job on a show called Beekman's World for about 3 years. And all of a sudden, everything, my agent died. The house I lived in went up for sale. Rosie had been canceled, Beekman's World, a couple other things. And I was like, boy, somebody's trying to tell me something. So I moved back to Erie, Pennsylvania, where I'm calling you from now. And
Are you happy there?
I am. I had my own theater for 15 years. It was called the Director Circle Theater.
Oh.
And
Nice.
I went to work for an aerospace company, which I just retired from a couple of months ago. I just bought a new house, and I'm sitting here with my Shetland sheepdog, Sheldon, talking to you guys.
Sheldon sheepdog, Sheldon.
Yeah.
Your
Very
Shetland
original,
sheepdog,
Michael. I
Sheldon.
appreciate it. Say that pretty fast.
Shetland sheepdog, Sheldon.
Well, thank you.
It sounds like your life worked out the way you probably had planned.
Yeah,
I had so many
had a plan.
metaphysics say to me, "Where do you want to be? Look at your feet."
I know it. Well, I have a little music room in my house that has pictures from Rosie and some of the other people, and they're like, "You knew Cagney and Lacey?"
If
And I'm
time,
like, yeah, kind of.
if time weren't such an early to bed person, she'd be watching us tonight.
I know. I would have probably.
I know.
I would have probably had
But
her
she
on.
sends her love. Yeah.
Well, Michael, thank you
she,
so much for calling, Michael. I appreciate that.
I know, Gaye Ann, I'll talk to you on Facebook. Sharon, I follow you on Facebook. I'm looking forward to your book coming out.
Thank you, Michael.
It's good to talk to you again after all these years.
Thank you, and you too. I'm glad you're happy.
Okay. I
Bye,
know.
Michael.
Well, good luck with the rest of the show tonight. I'll listen in for the rest of the night.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Okay, and bye.
Nice. It's like a walk down memory lane with the.
Sharon Gless, this is your fucking life.
Right.
So, all right. So let's start with something because
Anybody who knows me, Gaye Ann, has already died.
I know. We actually talked about that the other night.
Your fans that are watching now don't know who I am. I mean,
You're full of shit.
well.
Oh, come on. You are completely full of shit. And stop. And, but the reality is you're a native Californian, which I don't know people know that. You're a native California girl.
I'm a 5th generation Angelino.
Wow.
That and a dime will get you nothing, but I am.
And so, like, how old were you, or how did you get into
When I was born?
No, I know that. What got you into acting? I mean, I know your family was was it your?
You have to read my book.
Yeah. No. Fuck you. How did you get into acting? You don't have to give the whole story. Just did you know you always wanted to be an actress?
I think so. Yeah, and I did a play. I was in an acting class, and a bunch of us got together and did a play. We didn't charge anybody. It only ran 2 nights. But somebody from Universal was in the audience.
Wow.
I was a secretary. I worked in the film industry as a secretary for 100 years. And the man called me at my office and said he wanted me to meet Monique James. I said, okay, cut the bullshit. Who is this? I thought it was somebody from my acting class, And he said, I understand you're being skeptical. Why don't I have Miss James call you? And I said, do that. Fuck if she didn't call. Wow. Now, I know you 3 don't know who Monique James is.
I do.
But I know you do. But she was the head of talent at Universal Studios. Universal was the last studio to have contract players. And actually, I'm the last contract player in the history of Hollywood.
Wow.
The last one to leave the lot.
That's marvelous.
But Monique was very powerful in those days, and every wannabe actor knew her name. So anyway, I met with her and I did a scene and she signed me.
Were there casting couches involved around that time in those days, which I'm guessing are the 70s?
Well, it probably was, but no one ever made my life unpleasant or awkward, or now it could be because they were afraid of Monique James, who was very powerful at Universal. But I never had, there were, I'd go to like, the people are dead now, so it's okay. I'd go to like CBS cocktail parties and work the room. The network, asked that I would do that, and there were a couple of guys who'd suggest how nice it would be if we could be together. But I was never offended because they did it just nicely, and I always said, well, that's the nicest thing anybody said to me today. Is it would just ruin everything, don't you think? Just ruin everything. And they say, you're right. And we just move on. And nobody was offended, and nobody ever got,
too frisky.
You don't want to hear it. No.
Good to know.
So Sharon, being an actor and having a huge career, out of all the people that you met in the field, actors and actresses, who was the most famous person that you met that actually you were nervous to meet?
Oh my God.
Did you throw up a little in your mouth?
No, I didn't. But I didn't get to act with her, but it is somebody I met, and I spent 2 hours with her all alone, all by myself. Dame Maggie Smith.
Oh, how cool.
And I met her after I did the Crazy Nurse, Misery. And I went and met her afterwards, but then we had to leave. And years later, I was there and I went to see her in a play. And I thought, I wonder, my assistant was with me, and she said, you should go back and say hello to Maggie. I said, I don't think she'd remember me. And she said, yes, she would. So anyway, I wasn't so busy. So I went back, and the guy at the door, I said, excuse me. He said, I'm Sharon Gless, and I wondered, would Dame Maggie have a minute? Because when she sees you, she doesn't see anybody else. Like, you're it for the night.
Yeah.
She makes your own drink. She pours them. She does the whole thing. They bring in a cart. And anyway, I said, so I went back. He said, Maggie will see you, Sharon, of course. So I went back and I said, Dame Maggie, I don't know if you remember me. And she said, oh, would you stop? Come here. And she gives me a big hug. And she said, tell me, are you still not drinking? And I said, well, wearing a sign? I said, actually, I'm not. I'm surprised you remember that. She said, I remember everything about you. She said, do you mind if I drink? I said, not at all. And I spent like 2 hours in her room just with her alone. And after a while, you stop being nervous because she's really spectacular. So that's probably the most exciting for me actress that I've met. But I've had the pleasure of working with, really cool people. I was scared to death to meet James Garner.
Seriously?
Are any of you old enough to remember
Rockford Files?
Rockford Files.
Of course.
Yeah.
I did. When I first got to Los Angeles, I was an extra in one of the TV movies for the Rockford Files.
I worked on those.
Well, there you go. Then you may remember this day because it was a scene. I was a lady cop, and we were all waiting there there was a body that they have to dump this dummy off of the balcony of this hotel. And then his car comes wheeling in there. We all have to part. The car pulls up. He gets out of the car, slams the car. Somebody says something to him, and he's got this big long line, and he fucked that line up 7,000 times. And they had to keep backing the car up and taking the dummy all the way up to the top and resetting everything. And
Oh
I'm like,
my God.
I'm really impressed a half an hour ago, but I want to choke that man right now.
Oh, he was a cool
The most
guy.
takes I ever did was 14.
Oh my. For what?
14
What show?
takes, and it was with Jack Webb. Now, how old is anybody? Does anybody remember who Jack Webb was?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
Dragnet?
Yeah,
Dragnet. Right. But he was also a wonderful director, and he was directing Frank Sinatra Jr. and me in a modern day Dragnet. And he wanted me to do a reading like Jack spoke. Jack was very da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I kept thinking, oh, sure. And I used to do this with the other directors. I hope none are watching. And I'd say,
You're probably dead.
of course, yeah, no shit. I said, oh, I get it, of course. And I do it. And they'd say, perfect. And I did it the way I wanted. But with Jack, I kept trying to do it the way I wanted, pretend I was doing it the way Jack wanted. And every time Jack said, nope, that isn't the way I want it.
No.
14 times. And after a while, I realized that he was on to me.
Yeah.
And he had all the time in the world. He didn't get mad. He just said again.
Do you still remember the line?
No, I don't remember the line. I don't. But after 14 takes, he printed. He said, she got it.
I like
Everybody,
number 3,
welcome
actually.
Between the Sheets here on United Broadcasting Network with our guests Sharon Gless, Cagney, and Lacey Byrne Notice, and of course, everyone's favorite groundbreaking show, Queer as Folk. You're welcome to call in. Don't be scared. She doesn't bite. I mean, I wish she would, but she does. 323-524-2599. What were you going to say, Missy?
I want to hear about these other wonderful women with whom I'm sitting.
Well, Jenny, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Jenny McNulty?
Well, I was born in 1962 in Detroit. No, I was actually, but I am a stand-up comic from Detroit. I was a big sports fan my whole life. I have a degree in exercise science. I started doing comedy. I was in research for a minute, and then the guy I was working for, the doctor I was working for, moved. So I got to already started to do open mic nights, and it enabled me to kind of go out and showcase. So I started doing stand-up comedy, which I've been doing. I do some acting, a little bit of acting, and I host a show now, kind of combining exercise and everything I've backed down finally, Gaye Ann. I'm only doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday now.
Okay.
But it's called the In-House Comedy Chat. So I interview people, and it's more than a talk show. It uplifts your mind, body, and spirit. But I actually do it in front of a green screen, right there. And so I start the show off in Cher's house because I can, and then I do an interview with people. And then I go back out in front of the green screen, and I have a really cool scene I took at the beach, just like 5 or 6 minutes of waves coming in, and I take a walk, and I walk in place, and I'm trying to get people to walk with me. I got it's slowly creeping up. I got about 12 people now that say they're walking with me. And then my goal is for them to, when the camera shuts off, keep walking around the block or walk around the house. And so I try to keep it. And I think we just decided, Sheila just said today, my partner, she was like, I don't think I'm going to watch the news anymore. And I thought, we've been trying to, you can't help but go Trump, Trump, Trump in the monologue. So at first it was just like the monologue would be happy and the walk would be uplifting. But I think, you know what? I don't think I could do this. We just got to keep this all. So I don't know. It'll be a few, every once in a while he's so fucking colossally stupid and the joke is too good to pass up. So I got to put a little bit in the monologue. But so that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And it's taken up amazing amounts of time, but I'm loving it. It is really fun. Be honored.
How do I see you? How do I access you?
I'll send you the info. I'll email Dawn to send it to you, so you'll never find it.
Okay. All right.
It's hidden in the dark web. No, it's not. It's not.
And then Cara, tell Sharon a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a showbiz brat. My parents were in the movies,
Tell her who your mom was.
Who are your parents?
Tell her who your mom was.
My mother was an actress called Marianne Stone. She was in 227 films in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Wow, how cool.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
amazing.
cool.
I know every week she would go, and those were the days when they would make a movie in 2 weeks.
I know I'd recognize her because I'm a real movie hound.
Well,
you would say horror, but I was trying to clean up my part of the show.
That's okay. Can you just, if you are, just hang up right now. Come on.
So did you learn at her knee or?
I don't think I'm a very good actress, but I'm actually now a voice artist. But yes, because I was around.
You're actually now what? I'm sorry.
I'm a voice artist.
Voiceover artist.
It really sounds like this.
Oh God, it has to be the best job.
It is quite nice. You can do it.
You don't have to look your best.
It's true. So in between being raised by my crazy father was a movie journalist, and then I had quite a long career in radio in the UK, in London radio, and then I came over here, and I'm a voice artist.
Good
So-
for you. I did
What kind of
some on the
stories did your
radio.
dad cover, Kara?
what's that, darling?
What kind of stories did your dad cover?
Oh, he was a gossip columnist. But it was also the editor of Screen International, which is like a variety,
Oh,
British
cool.
variety, in the 80s and into the 90s. But he was a gossip man. And
What was his biggest scoop?
if he couldn't get, oh, I don't know, really. If he couldn't get gossip, he'd make it up. He was, but he was very well loved. He was called the Grand Old Man of Wardour Street, London, Soho.
Oh.
He was, and he really was. He knew everything about film, every person's name, and his brain was extraordinary. He was quite an
Oh, lucky you.
No kidding.
lucky. So today I just recorded. I'm in a cartoon which is called The Treasure Trackers, and I play this little AI mouse who's English and she's rather sweet and perky, and she's sort of sidelined.
Let's hear her voice.
Well, she's a bit like that. She's a bit perky and she's very sweet, and she is my mouse. And she says it's time for the treasure trackers to take to the hills. I know.
The hills.
The hills.
Really nice show, and I was actually looking at. I had found it online today, which I hadn't done before, and it's based on ideas of teaching children empathy, and manners and kindness and forgiveness. And I realized that when I was doing the script, but I'm only in this. I'm not in the whole thing. I'm just in the studio area. But no, it's really a lovely show. Which, if any of you've got grandchildren, I recommend it because it's online. It's called Treasure Trackers. It's very, very sweet.
Writing it down.
And it's.
I have grandchildren. I just spoke to my granddaughter just before I signed on with you guys. I mean, she's my granddaughter by marriage, but I have 3 granddaughters.
Oh.
Haley, Greer, and Zoe.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, put them on.
And I have 3 stepdaughters. I want them to get pissed that I didn't mention them. Erica, Alin, and Tori.
Oh, how wonderful.
Exactly.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's okay. It's so good to give the family plug. Otherwise, they'll get pissed. You have to keep everything equal.
I know, and I forgot to mention my niece Bridget.
Oh,
She
I
gets-
loved Bridget.
I
Bridget's
know
so
you
much-
do. That's
I
right.
love Bridget.
And Bridget gets pissed if I don't,
Yeah, well, Bridget, yeah, because Bridget is Bridget.
Yeah.
But we love Bridget, and she's stunning. Oh my God, I mean, she's like Sharon, but
Oh,
think
please.
of like no. Sharon was the bombshell blonde, and Bridget was the raven-haired beauty. You both were stunning. Your family's beautiful. I mean, all of them. Barney's kids are beautiful. They all look gorgeous.
Okay.
Just saying. So
Thank
now
you,
I
honey.
love them.
I love you.
I love you more. And now Cheryl Murphy. Why don't you share a little bit about yourself?
Well, it's interesting because my mom is an actress also. So it's very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, she's retired now, but her last movie was Hangover 3 with, Bradley Cooper, and she played Melissa McCarthy's mother in that. But she did TV shows.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, Hangover
What's
3.
your mom's name? Let's give mom a plug.
Betty Murphy. Yeah.
Okay.
Betty Murphy. She did some
Betty
shows.
Murphy. I know Betty Murphy.
Yeah, you might know her. She watches you, by the way, Sharon. She watches Cagney and Lace all the time. She's just
Thank
loves
you.
it every day. So just wanted to tell you that. I told her I was
Thank
going to be
you.
on with you tonight, and she's thrilled. And
I
she
think I
knew
met
Barney.
Betty.
She knew Barney too. So yeah. So
Did she work on Cagney and Lacey?
she might have. She worked on Desperate Housewives, CSI.
Oh,
Picket
nice.
Fences. I mean, she did a lot of television back then, so you may have met her. But yeah, so that's my mom. She just been and she caught the bug back when she was 15 and 16 years old, right? It sounds like
Oh,
everyone
nice.
did. So she grew up in theater in Houston, and then now we're out in LA and all of that. So yeah,
Oh.
it's
Yeah,
exciting.
but what do you do?
So I'm a medium. I'm a psychic medium, and
That's right.
It runs in our family. It runs in the women's side of the family. I didn't know it, but my mom.
When did you first realize you had that gift?
When I was about 3 years old, right around then, 3 or
Jesus.
4, whatever. I was tiny.
You
I saw
talked at 3 or
I saw
4?
the spirit world. What?
Yeah.
Like you were like
I was just-
cognizant of that at 3 or 4?
Well, they woke me up in the middle of the night, and they just came as a beautiful glow. And I just knew I was talking to like a family or a group, you know, it was very loving, and they moved around the room, and they came to me a few times when I was small, and then again when I was my teenage years. And so then I knew that's what I wanted to pursue. And, you know, I went to university and tried to find other people with like minds, so to speak, because it wasn't so popular, you know.
Could you
20 years
find
ago.
people who do that?
It was very hard to find that a long time ago, and it wasn't talked about, right? So
right,
it's just in your family and it's normal, but outside your household, it's just not discussed. So I'm so lucky that I was able to finally start pursuing it, right? And now look at
lucky us.
TV and movies and what's that?
I said, lucky us.
Yeah, lucky us. Very much, very much. Thank you. And so now I'm in LA, and there's a great group of great community out here in LA. Great community of mediums, and really, you know, so I love it. And I still study. I'm still a student in so many ways. You know, you're always learning, right? You're always learning your craft.
Can somebody be a student of that field, of that?
Well, you know, it's an art. I think it's an art. And I think just the more you do it, the more you're around it, the more you're in it, the more you're open to
Wait a minute.
Yep. See, it's working.
I'm busy.
Is part of what you learn, Cheryl, just like learning how not to hear it when you don't want to hear it, or can you not control that? Like if somebody wants to come through, do they have their way with you?
Yeah, definitely. It's well, it's like a radio dial, but that's a great question, because you are responsible, you know, for your own faculty, so to speak. So yeah, it's like a radio dial, and you turn it down when you're not working, and then when you are working, you really open yourself up to it. Yeah, so you're right. It's really important to know when to be in your own awareness, you know, and then when to open up your awareness to the spirit world, right? And it's just amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing work, really. And I feel blessed or called.
So are you a psychic or a what is the name of someone who speaks to those who've gone before?
Yeah, well, that's a medium. It's called a medium, where you're the medium, you're in between, you know, you're connecting with the other world. A psychic is more, and I do see, the saying is that everyone is psychic. Like every medium is a psychic, but every psychic is not a medium. Because psychic is more like down to earth stuff. It talks about your current life situations. Being a medium, it's more like contacting the dead, so to speak, or, you know, the guides and angels, the people who have transitioned, our loved ones. Yeah. But then the spoiler alert, right, is we're all still very much alive, right?
Yes, we are.
It is still very much alive.
For now.
I have spoken to a couple of people who've gone before me.
Yes, I believe
it. I asked my cousin, I don't think you know her, but anyway, my cousin Elizabeth was an actress. She was on Ironside. And anyway, she died, sadly, a couple of years ago. But I said, would you please come and find me? Just let me know that you're there, you know, because I can't bear this. And she said, I don't know if I can. I will. And she and I used to watch constantly. Towards the end, she didn't want to hear any news. Besides, she was a Republican, so that was hard. But I love her. So we'd watch the Republican stations.
She couldn't help it.
Yeah. And she didn't want to watch news because it was upsetting, and she didn't want to watch anything that was serious. She only loved Say Yes to the Dress. Have any of you seen it?
Dress, yes.
It's about wedding dresses.
I have.
Yeah, so we were totally hooked on Say Yes to the Dress. We cut to about 6 months after she's gone, and I'm in the hospital having something done on my leg. And I went to have an x-ray, and I came back, and I'd been in the hospital a week, and my station had been changed because I just watched MSNBC. And I called the nurses. I said, excuse me, who turned my television station? And they said, oh, Miss Gless, none of us, we'd never touched your station. I said, well, all right, but somebody did, because it's a show about fat people. And it was one of those things, you know, if you're 500 pounds, you see stuff. And I thought, fine. And I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden, Say Yes to the Dress.
It popped on? I don't know.
And I knew she had changed the station, because even though they don't have bodies, they have energy.
Yeah.
And they can do electrical stuff, right? With their energy. And she turned the
Could you do me a
said
favor?
yes to the
Since
dress.
electrical stuff. Can you send her to my house? I've got an issue. I'm recommended by Sharon Gless.
That's right.
I grabbed a photo
Judy
of my
Carr?
mother.
Who's that? No.
That's Cara's mom.
It's my mum with Ringo in A Hard Day's Night.
Oh,
Oh, I
cool.
recognize her.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, she had a nose
Yeah,
job.
your mom's beautiful.
One of the first nose jobs, that people had.
That's a good job.
It is a good
I
job.
think it's quite a cute little nose she got.
Because it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
She is. And I've been told by a psychic that she's up in heaven holding the baby that I lost in the 80s, and it was a little girl. And she always said, my mother always said to me, I just love newborn babies. And this psychic, she said it again recently. She says, your mother's got the baby. It's not going to grow. She's just looking after the baby. And when you get up there, then you will raise it.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
I think that's a beautiful concept.
Yes,
It is.
I love it.
It is.
True. It's true. And very comforting too.
Yes. So doing a sequitur, because I never do proper transitions. Something comes in my head and I just shake it the fuck up. So you've been married to Barney Swag for what, 29 years now?
Oh my God. What do you do? Live here? Yes, nobody knows that. Yeah, in May it'll be 30 years.
Yes, I know. I knew you
Wow.
then. I knew you then.
I know, but I mean, to know that precisely, do you know the years?
Because I'm fucking that
anal.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. And ADHD, and I just remember shit. My friends hate it because they can't lie to me. Because when they say something, I'm going, no, that's not exactly how you said that. This is exactly how you said it. Well, this is not what I meant. Then, well, if you didn't mean it, then why did you fucking say it? Because I'm going to remember it how you said it. They hate that. But you have been married for a very long time. Barney was your only marriage? Am I correct?
My first husband. I introduce him as my first husband. He introduces me as his last wife, please God. I'm number 3.
Oh,
But you've known Barney since Cagney and Lacey.
That's how I met him. I married the boss.
Exactly. And so,
after a large scandal,
but whatever. It happens. It's Hollywood. Big fucking
it's in the
deal.
book.
Yeah, whatever. But the reality is, how do you make? Because in Hollywood, people don't last. It's wash and wear. It's the flavor of the month. So how did you and Barney last so long?
Separate bathrooms, and not staying in the same city together for too long. I don't know. We've had it's a very interesting marriage. It used to be called Fight Night at the Rosenzweigs. As soon as I just thought marriage was going to be this really wonderful romantic thing, especially like when you're dating your boss and you're one of his stars, and he'd sometimes come down on the set. And, oh, I'm going to do this scene just for him. And then we got married after going through all kinds of stuff. And then marriage, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't recommend marriage, because I am married to a wonderful guy, but it's not for everybody. Sort of being responsible. Something I was not used to. I was almost 50 when I married him. I'd never been married before. So I was in therapy before I said yes to him. I used to tell my therapist I'd be crying and say, he's such an asshole. And my therapist would say, yes, but he's yours. And that's how we sort of got through it. We went through a hard patch, divorce, and we didn't get divorced, but I went and accepted Queer as Folk. I went up to Canada 5 years.
Wow. So you had
and when I got back, he was much nicer to me.
So speaking of Queer as Folk, I mean, did they, like, when they wrote it, well, it was a British series that adapted in US. Did they have you in mind to play that role, or did you have to audition or stuff?
No, I was in Chicago doing a play. As I say, I wasn't so busy. So I was in Chicago doing a play, and I'd been asked to play, to do a Lion in Winter afterwards on the East Coast. And I thought, oh my God, Eleanor of Aquitaine, shit. Yeah, I'm just like her, right? I said, I'll do it if you give me the finest acting coach in this town in Chicago. And they brought me the finest acting coach, and he was training me to play Eleanor. I'd accepted the play, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he calls me one day, and he's an agent during the day and an acting coach at night. He calls me one day, and he said, have you ever heard of Queer as Folk? I said, no. He said, well, it's a British series, and America is doing the American version now. I said, oh, okay. He said, there's a role in it you're perfect for. I'm going to send the script right now. Stay home. Okay, whatever. You know, anyway, I read it, and I picked up the phone, and I called Showtime. Now, my friend Carol Smith, who's Barney's assistant, Barney retired, and Carol was now working for the head of Showtime. So I said, I want that part. She said, Sharon, you do. I said, I want to play the mother. Is it cast? She said, no, nothing's been cast. And I said, well, I want the mother. I've never called and asked for a job ever in my life. I want this particular part. She thought I was talking about Sunshine's mother.
Oh,
the pretty, young blonde. Thank you. I said, no, I want to play a Debbie. She said, oh, Sharon, you don't want that. There's no money. It's cable television. I said, I don't care. And she said, and also it shoots in Canada. Mm-hmm. I don't care. She said, well, let me run it by Jerry. So Jerry Offsay was the head of Showtime. Jerry calls me up and he says, you know, I like the idea. I think you bring a little class to the project. I said, Jerry, class is not what I had in mind. And he said, would you meet the producers? It's their show and I don't want to run roughshod over them. So he said, I'll fly you out. So he flew me up to Los Angeles. I met with Ron Cowan and Dan Lippman, who created the American version. And we had such a good time, and I got the job that day.
What was it about the part that made you really want it?
She was so outrageous. The show, I mean, everybody was naked and having sex on screen, and I'd been around, you know, and I thought, I've never seen anything like this. I've got to be part of this. So, and it didn't disappoint.
Was it written?
They made me lead the set every time there was nudity.
Was it as wacky? Like, how much of Debbie is you? Did you bring to that? What was on the paper?
I'll tell you actually where I got Debbie. And I'd like to precede the story by telling you, my mother is she is such a lady. She is so soft-spoken. She's always saying things like, Sharon, modulate your voice. My mother was so not elegant, like piss elegant. She was just a very, very fine, lovely woman who did a beautiful job raising children. And Debbie, if anybody ever saw Queer as Folk, I mean, you saw what kind of character that was. So not like my mother, but I used my mother's heart. And I functioned with the love that I knew my mother felt for me, I put into Michael. And it became easy because then I had this filthy mouth, which was really fun. But the heart always remained constant. I just kept my mom in here. And if you ever saw my mother, you'd go, really? But anyway, so that I used my mother's heart and just a brilliant writing of those two producers. And the worse my mouth became, I had the worst mouth on the show.
You did.
I loved it. And when they
didn't fall far from the tree.
No, but I wasn't used to on television to be able to talk that way. And then after the show was over, they put it on some other network and they cleaned up nobody's allowed to say fuck on that network. Well, The two producers said my scene sounded like a truck backing up. Beep, 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 beep. I cut out all my bucks. And so anyway, it was fun. And of all the shows I've done, I've remained the closest to those boys.
Oh.
Because, and I think it's even closer than the Cagney and Lacey group, because Cagney and Lacey, except for Tino, whom I talk to every day.
Oh,
Time daily, every day.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Ever since COVID started, I mean, rather than, put the blade at our wrists, we call each other. And we've become very close. And wait, what was I telling you?
You're still tight with them.
Right with the
Oh,
boys.
yes, but I never got to see, because Tiny and I were in every scene. That was how Cagney and Lacey was devised. That there was not a scene that we were not in. So you, the audience, don't see a murder and then we come across it. I mean, you don't see the murder and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every scene we see, you're looking at, because we're in every scene. I forget what my point was.
With Queer as Folk.
Queer as Folk, you had.
There was a lot of cast members and you weren't in it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Anyway, because we were in so much, we didn't get to hang out with our fellow actors who were wonderful. The actors on Cagney and Lacey. But we never got to really hang with them because we had no time. Time and I, we worked 14 to 17 hours every day. Every day.
Before there were rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Before they had rules for children.
Right.
Right.
But
Which of the guys are you closest to?
from Queer as Folk.
But because of, my thought is, because we were all in Canada, we were all out of our own country. We all were living away from home, and those guys got really close, as did I with them. That we bonded. And whenever I'm in LA, they've always got some fundraiser, and I go to, or we get together. We'll go to a concert together, or we're just, and the women too. At least one of the women see a lot. On my 70th birthday, I invited all of them.
Wait, I have a question.
Michelle?
The one, Michelle's the one that had the baby, right?
Michelle. Yes, Michelle and I are close. Right. We don't get to see Taya very much, but the rest of the boys we see, almost all of them are in LA. Randy, who I used to call Sunshine, he's in New York. And Scott Lowell is in New York now.
Gail was in a horrible motorcycle accident.
He was shortly after we wrapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He's fine now. But
oh, good.
Oh, yeah. He's still
And
gorgeous.
Peter is a sweetheart.
Yeah, good. Yay.
Peter's a big fancy producer now.
Yes, he is.
Doesn't give me a job. Thank you very much. He named one of his characters after me, but didn't give me the job.
Bastard.
Yeah.
So did you, when you guys were filming it, I mean, because it was a big breakthrough show in the UK, did you guys think it was going to be as huge here, if not bigger in the States while you were doing it?
No, you have to understand, I never knew anything about it in London, so I didn't know how huge it was. I was just told it was. The two producers, Ron and Dan, asked that I not watch the British version. He knows that I'm a real Anglophile. I die for British actors, and he was afraid I was going to get sucked in and I wouldn't do what I do. I mean, I guess they just had to trust that I would do something interesting, but they didn't want me to watch anything that had been done before. So I've never seen the original.
Still? You still haven't seen the British version?
Still haven't seen it. No. I've done 5 years of it in America. Fuck 'em.
I gotta go watch it now.
Hey, by the way, I'm an Anglophile too. I love that. I lived in London for a year. Do you have Roku or Apple TV? You've got to subscribe to BritBox and Acorn TV. They're subscription services, and you get to see all the series, everything that's on the UK, current and old. Acorn TV and BritBox.
I daren't get it.
Apple TV.
If you have Apple TV,
You do.
then you can subscribe to BritBox and Acorn TV.
Okay.
It's an app. Barney will know how to do it.
I'll tell you, I don't think television has been any better than it is right now. Maybe it's just the first time that I've ever had a chance to look at TV. So I've been very blessed.
course.
Well, there's so much out there.
Yeah, I'm
There's bound to be
shooting.
something good, right?
Yeah. So I've been shooting for so many years that I've never watched
Yeah.
television in the last, 40. But I am now hooked. Barney's big crush is Aaron Sorkin. He's a
Oh, yeah.
writer of television.
Nothing wrong with that.
Just nobody can really beat him.
That's
But
a lot.
I've never seen the not the Oval Office, the
West Wing.
West Wing.
Oh,
I'm now
very good.
so hooked. This man is such a genius. Those actors, I don't know how they get all that dialogue out.
Yeah.
Very
He
good.
did a show called-
They're rapid fire,
yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm on season 4. My life is rich and full, right? Anyway, I'm on season 4, and every night, Barney and I.
Oh, how wonderful.
But it's so brilliant that we watch it again.
nice.
Now, when is the book gonna come out?
Well, I don't know. They told me it couldn't come out this year, so I'm still sort of dragging my ass a little. They do not print biographies the year of an election. This is Simon and Schuster.
Hey,
Boy, are they getting some big books.
Yeah.
Yay.
Mary Trump
Yeah.
Yeah.
sold a million books in one day.
Yep.
And the last guy who the
Bob Woodward.
yes,
Yeah.
that's Simon & Schuster. I'm not saying this because I think Simon & Schuster's watching. I'm so honored.
How did you get the book deal?
Okay, glad you asked, Miss CBS. So, not Queer as Folk. What did I do after that? Burn Notice. Burn Notice was on USA, and I did 7 years on that. We were offered an 8th year. Can you imagine? But Jeffrey Donovan, the star, didn't want to do anymore. I don't blame him. They kind of killed the golden goose on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but after 7 years, I think, now what am I going to do? I was almost finished. And CBS invites me, Nina Tassler. Is that
Yep.
her?
That's her name.
Nina Tassler calls my manager and wants to meet with me. I thought, this is so cool. And when I went into her office, she had the head of comedy, the head of drama, the head of casting, which is a whole different department, and Nina. And it was held in her office. I always think that these people do meetings in somebody else's office so they can leave. But she did it in her office. And I was there for an hour. She'd ask me stuff like, do you mind working in another country? I said, no, and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, this is so cool. And they said, welcome, you're going to love this, Gaye Ann. Welcome home, Sharon.
Well, it was the CBS tagline for years.
Yes.
Welcome home.
Welcome home, Sharon, because I'd done, a lot of shows. Anyway, I said, well, thank you so much. I'm thinking, this is so cool. This is so great. I'm going to walk out here with the series, and this is never easier. Okay, so after an hour, and I'm trying to just entertain them and keep them happy, and they said, why are you here in LA? And I was there because I was having a big birthday party, and I'm from LA, so I returned back to LA to have my big birthday. Anyway, the hour is up, and Nina says to me, we own Simon & Schuster. And I said, no, I didn't know that, Nina. And she said, well, we do, and I think you have a book in you. I'm going, wait a minute, what about the series? Said, Nina, I'm not a writer. She said, I know, but you're a storyteller. I'm listening to you for 1 hour, and you're a great storyteller. And she said, and you have an interesting family and history here, and so we want you to do it. And I said, okay. Maybe the next day, the president of Simon & Schuster contacts me. I mean, she wasn't just trying to get me out of the room, And so I waited a year. I didn't want to do it. I'm really not a writer. It's been very hard doing this book. If you're not a writer, it's really difficult. Anyway, so I started like a year after that, and I was in New York. So I went to see the head of Simon & Schuster, and that's that. He offered me a deal that day. And I read one chapter. I had written a chapter just because I wanted someone else to, anyway, it has a history. And so I wrote a chapter myself, and I was having lunch with my manager that day before we go to the big meeting. And I just said, I wrote something, if you want to see if I have any gift at all. And I gave it to him. He reads it and he hands it back. And said, well, I guess that sucked. So anyway, I put it in my purse and we go to the meeting. And about a half hour into the meeting, my manager says, I want you to read what you gave me at lunch. So I read it to Jonathan, the president. And he had his door open. And his secretary down the hall was laughing out loud. And I realized I don't have the gift really of a writer, but I do know how to interpret. You know, I knew how, it's because right after I did that little reading, my little chapter, Jonathan said, of course, you have to do the tape also.
The audiobook thing, right?
Oh, the audio.
And I realized I sort of know where to place the emphasis, or the emphasis.
Because you're an actor. Because you get it.
I know, but yeah. But I was trying to be a writer also. So I've had help and I've worked really, really hard, and it's been several years, and all of my best friends that I've had all my life in that lifetime have died. So wonderful chapter though. You'll like it. Please buy the book. There's a wonderful chapter about it. And it's just, I hope that you guys will all like it, because it's been really a labor of love.
I'm sure.
But you are love. I mean, I've seen you get angry at a few people, but it's been justified. And it's usually.
Have you really? Can you tell?
I have. I know. I could tell. I could just tell. It's the body language, and it's just a couple more extra fucks than usual.
In that? That body language?
Yeah, that's your body language, baby.
Right. Yeah.
But
subtle.
But you have been, but you are, and you are a lot like your mom. I mean, seriously, you are a lady in a Renaissance sort of way, because you have a big heart. You have a huge heart, Sharon, and everybody around you realizes that, and you're too fucking busy brushing it off because you don't know how to receive. So you're going to receive this. You are one of the most.
So you're going to receive this? I thought you were going to go, so you're going to receive this.
I wasn't going with humor right now. I was going from my fucking heart that I've been around you a very long time, and you have always been kind and compassionate and loving. And I resonate a lot with you because we're buds, but you're who I wanted to grow up to be.
Oh, honey, you did so much better.
No, I didn't.
God bless you.
I didn't. It's, like I said, you were my mentor. And you said, because when I started, and this business was still all guys, so you taught me in a way how to be abroad and swim with the fish, but yet continue to keep my dignity and keep my femininity, but still speak my voice so I would be heard and would be recognized. So thank you.
I never knew I did that. Nope. I should go back to drinking. I wasn't drinking.
You were not drinking. You were very.
When I was drinking, I thought I was so inspiring.
And you probably.
Well, read my book. Apparently not.
No, but you know what?
Apparently there were complaints.
But you are fucking inspiring, and the book will inspire people because that's a piece of you. That is a piece of you that you're giving someone, and you're just just giving your DNA and even your energy to people. So and I still love the book title. I love the book title. I just love the book title. It is so you.
It is good.
Apparently there were complaints.
I love it.
So
it's at Simon and Schuster now for the second time with the editor.
Yeah.
But they haven't told me I couldn't have that title, and I've always used it on the top. And no one's. I even told the president what the title was going to be. So that's good. But
so on the horizon, Sharon, besides the book, and I know COVID, but people I had my first photo shoot today. Since March.
I feel like are you working so hard because nobody's calling in to talk to me?
No, I'm getting, you know what? If you look, bullshit, fuck you. If you look on the chain of the show, which is, I've got 2 phones and I'm following the chain, people are just captivated by what you're saying. And that,
that's nice.
So there, a lot of people don't want to talk. You're just giving them the information, and some people are scared shitless. I mean, we're used to it. We're in the business. We talk to people like this all the time. It's like for you.
I mean, you can be tough, but you're pussy cat.
I am. Right. Yeah. I mean, a friend of mine always says, "Why are you so damn emotional and so sensitive?" I'm like, because a lot of people don't think I am. They think I'm balls to the wall.
Because I have a fucking heart.
I have a fucking heart. Fuck you. we do, and it is a defense mechanism, and whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter. But so that's why people aren't calling, because apparently you're giving them everything they want, baby.
That's not true.
Can I ask something?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry we didn't get callers.
No, we don't want callers.
We don't want callers.
We don't.
Really?
I'd like to ask you a question, because I'm assuming, I'm just guessing, you are a gay icon, even though you're not gay.
Thank you.
But people may have thought you were gay because you weren't married.
Oh, always. Oh, I was flattered.
But it was a different time, and we were talking the 80s, right?
All through Cagney and Lacey, everybody who interviewed me said, "Of course, we know you're gay." I said, "Well, I'm not gay. I am festive." And that used to be sort of my pat answer, because I didn't know quite what to say, and I really didn't care what they thought I was, and to this day I still don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the gay community has kept my career alive, brought me back. Without the lesbian community, Cagney and Lacey would not have had the followers they had. And then without the boys, the gay community on Bruno,
Queer as folk,
they brought me back again. I worship at your feet.
And as a big old queer who was also big old in denial, I was 37 before I figured my shit out. I remember as a kid, like, I'm sure I had a crush on you because I love blondes and you were gorgeous and all those things. But no, I wasn't that. No.
You're too young.
I wanted to be you though. You were so cool, and you were so just like it. Like you were women that we wanted to be, because we still don't have equality.
There weren't any other shows like that for women. There were no shows for women.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
It never starred 2 women, and we had Lucy and Ethel and Laverne and Shirley, but nobody who
not badass women though.
I beg your pardon?
Not badass women. You were like,
Yeah, no. This was a drama,
cool.
So
yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Barney said, because Barney had, he was the executive producer. He said, in a fairer world, he said, you 2 women could have worked in the post office.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter. It was about the women, not about the job.
Right.
It was about the
But
women.
also, Sharon, I gotta say, it was about the chemistry of you and Tyne.
Yeah.
And I will say thank you. And I also have a pat answer to that, because I believe it. I don't believe actors can take any credit for chemistry. We don't know if we have chemistry. Hi, nice to meet you. But the person who thought to put you together.
True.
Now, a little known fact, most of you wouldn't know this. Sharon, I think Sharon knows. 2 seasons ago, my network tried to, we did a pilot of Cagney and Lacey. They wanted to try and bring it back.
Yes.
And it was nice women in it. They've gone on to great careers, but the magic wasn't there. I mean, I worked on it. I actually worked on it, and I love the women, but the magic for me wasn't there. And there are some shows that you just cannot do a remake of. And I think that was one of them. Barney had a deal with them that they had to talk to him every day. They sent him dailies, and he would tell them every day what they're doing wrong. Barney's he's great, but you love him. He never would insult them. He just said, here's what you need to do, and here and here and here, because it's really about the women. And
they listened to him every day, but they refused to follow one thing, anything that he said.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, CBS thought they had a better idea. But Barney says, really, when we were doing Cagney and Lacey, CBS had a different idea. But sometimes, like any network, sometimes if you know a show so well, even if you're not famous like Barney wasn't, you go in and you fight. I say, what's it like being a producer? He said, you go into the network and you fight and they knock you down and you get up again and they knock you down and you get up again and they knock you down and you get up again and they knock you down and you get up again. Mm. And in the end, the network loves you if you're a hit, you know. Mm. We were the first show that was ever canceled and brought back by popular demand.
It was the write-in campaign.
Barney did that. He started it.
He started
he
the
called
writing
me up
campaign.
one day at my little house in the valley, and he said, "You've been canceled." And he said, "Did you get any mail? Are you getting any mail from people?" I said, "Yeah, I have mail." And he said, "Well, so does Tiny." He said, "I'm sending a driver over. Okay, can I have your mail?" I said, "Sure." He wrote a letter to every single person who wrote in.
Wow.
And he said, he said, don't write me. Thank you for the sympathies, but don't write me. Write your local affiliate station and write your local newspaper. And he said, because CBS may not read their mail, but they do read the paper. And bags of mail. So the affiliate stations didn't know what to do with it. The newspapers didn't know what to do with it. They put them all in big bags and sent them to CBS.
Wow.
The CBS was getting these huge rolls of mail, and they called. And I was on location doing something else for CBS, a TV movie. And I got a call from someone saying your partner called. You know, to the door in hotels, how they used to do that in the old days. You're too young. But anyway.
I remember.
Yeah. And one piece of paper said your partner called. One piece of paper said your producer called. One piece of paper said your agent called, your manager called. I said, what happened? And they said CBS was big enough to say we made a mistake.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And they brought us back.
And
we became the highest paid women in television at the time. Well, they torn up our contract, you know, so we got to renegotiate again.
Had to start over again. Reset.
Right. We forgot to ask what the men were making, but anyway, we had a really good time. And I just, Tyne Daly has a mark on my heart.
Oh.
That will never go away. Because what we went through together, her mother had a great expression.
Oh,
here, I paraphrase it because Tyne says, that isn't how she said it. This is how I said it. Sweat makes a great cement.
Ooh, nice one.
And we sweat together for 6 years and we're cemented for life.
Oh.
I mean, you know what's funny is, you know, growing up, and I was not that young when Cagney and Lacey was on, but, you know, when you just said it was on 6 seasons, you know, in my mind, it was on much longer.
We signed a 7-year deal like everybody does, you know, when they sign up for a year, but we didn't make it to 7. But by the end of 6, we were pretty battered and it was time to go.
And then
I was put in rehab.
Yeah, well, that
day
was
after we wrapped.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because apparently there were complaints.
My agent took me to dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Said, I think you're an alcoholic. When did you wrap Cagney and Lacey? I said, I remember this. I said, April 11th. I'm Betty Ford by April 12th. I'm doing an interview. How could you talk to me that way? There were 4 martinis lined up. Wow. I think he told the bartender not to remove the glasses.
Really?
You know how they take one.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not that night.
Yeah.
To show you. Clever. So Tyne Daly, she also played Mama Rose, right, in Gypsy.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. After Cagney and Lacey, she went on to Broadway, won the Tony.
Yep.
Amazing.
Mama Rose.
I wish I'd seen
And then
that.
I
That was
think Tyne
amazing.
Daly was the best actress, not necessarily the best singer, but the best actress to ever play that part, because I saw her do it.
I'm
Me
sure.
too.
So
It was
the song, everything's coming up early. There's a Dexter. She would take that child of hers and throw her across the stage. She became so insane because it's Rose who wanted the attention.
Correct.
And she's trying to plant this into the child. She wasn't a child, it was this Gypsy Rose lady. But she takes her and while singing, throws her across the stage and the kid slides. And the audience just goes, oh. She really played that fanatical, wanna be an actor mother
Right.
Yeah.
to
I mean, she's
perfection.
amazing. I mean, the last time I worked with Tyne, I mean, I call her every once in a while because I miss her, and like I miss you. I did Murphy Brown.
Too.
I did the Murphy Brown remake.
That's right. Right.
So when they casted,
You don't mind
Tyne,
my saying I don't think they used her properly, but that's
I
just
agree.
my
I
opinion.
agree. I agree. I completely
Except they
agree.
blew
But I
that.
didn't give a shit because I got to fly to New York and produce the shoot because I worked on the original Murphy Brown. So it was nice to reconnect
Oh
with
wow.
Yeah.
And then when Tyne was added to the cast, that to me was like the cherry on the
Yeah.
top of the cake. And we had so
She was
much
wonderful. I
fun.
think they should have made her sing. Like,
They should have.
remember Jackie Gleason as the bartender? Is anybody old enough to remember Jackie Gleason?
Yes.
Oh, we love Jackie. Yeah.
Well, anyway, he had a character who was a bartender, and he'd always sing. And Tyne has a fucking Tony. They should have had her sing as the bartender.
Yes.
Hey, no one's
But in
asking me
any
to produce anything, so what do I know?
I don't know. We could talk about it. Because your book will
I'm gonna
be
be
made
a
into book.
producer. I just want to be an actress.
And you still are. Do you have any? So you have nothing on the pike besides
My
the book.
Emmys call me an actress. I'll take it.
Sure. But you have nothing right now on the books until COVID's over, right?
No.
So
No.
you're like stuck in Florida.
Yes, but I would like to work. I'd still like to work, regardless of my
So
age.
people, Sharon Gless is not dead. If you have anything, she has an agent.
Even though
still.
nobody's calling in to say hi, I just love you.
Nobody wants to call. Do you know what? You know,
No.
look, one thing I got to tell you something about this
Feeling
show. and
bad.
This is what hold on, lady. This is what I like about this show because my friends come on, and it's not like a regular show. And the interview that we all do with you is not the canned bullshit that you have to do when you're doing a book tour or a movie. And you know, I appreciate you coming on this show because it means a lot to me.
I
and
love you.
supporting-
I mean,
No, I mean, there's a friend of mine that says you say you tell everybody you love them, and for that moment I do. But my love for you has lasted since 1989, genuinely.
I know that.
So
I know that.
So, God, I'm gonna cry.
I love you too. We had some laughs. We have
did.
really had. We've had some.
I bet.
And we used to
Major
smoke
laughs.
a lot of cigarettes. We used to go. She used
Oh,
to
yeah.
smoke Marlboro Reds, and
Oh, my
I was always doing like Carlton, and she would go through like a pack a day, and I'd try to keep up with her with Carlton, and then I'd run out, and then she'd go, just stop with those pussy cigarettes, have a real one, and I would sit
That's
there.
right. A Marlboro Red. Jesus.
Marlboro Red. I'd smoke
right.
those fucking things, and the next day I'd be hoarse. I'd be.
That's
fucking
what I
hoarse.
smoked on Burn Notice. My character
Yeah.
was a chain smoker. They kept me in Marlboro Reds.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's great. But and they'd also have a smoke machine. So when you ever shot in my house, it looked like she was such a. I was a chain smoker, but it looked like my character Madeline was such a smoker that you could barely see anything. And Tyne came to do the show once, and she said, "I'm going to play a smoker too." And they made the smoke so thick you couldn't see us, but you could hear us in my house.
Well,
We've had
Miss
such a
Glass,
good time.
it's, believe it or not, I told you an hour and a half was going to go pretty quick, and it's an hour and a half, and it's late. You're in Florida, so
Thank
it's
you.
11:30. I do want to say thank you. You've always supported me, and being on this show really is an honor for me to
I
celebrate
love
it with
you.
I love you.
Gaye Ann. Thank
I
you.
love you, Sharon.
And Cheryl, you have a client.
Thank you. I do.
Tara and Jenny, it's so nice to have met you.
Likewise, likewise.
And I look forward to enjoying your work.
Thank
So
you.
Sharon, when you come into town, you owe me a birthday dinner because you were going to come out during December.
Well, nothing's open, but Musso and Frank's will open. And we'll go to Musso's.
Okay, when we're allowed. So you do owe me a birthday dinner because you always keep your promises, and this time you will. But I'd rather you be healthy and safe than to give me a birthday dinner right now. And I miss you tons.
I miss you too. Thank you so much for inviting me to your party. This is so cool.
Well, don't worry, because maybe you'll come back on again if you're bored. But because she's really shitty at it, I'm going to tell her, if you want to follow Sharon Gless on Twitter, it's Sharon_Gless at Sharon Gless. Her Instagram is Sharon Gless Real. Her Facebook is Sharon Gless at Official Sharon Gless. And her website, I know, that's why I'm fucking reading it. You don't know this shit. SharonGless.com. Also, fans may also be interested in CagneyandLacey.com. And this was all this information actually was provided to me by Dawn LaFreda, who is a good friend.
Dawn LaFreda.
And I had a lovely talk with her, and we've been Facebook friends for a long time, and we never met.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that you were cheating on me.
I'm friends with every fucking lesbian. It's just a matter of when I meet them and when I talk to them. But you were the connector, so thank you, Dawn, for facilitating all of this with Sharon and giving me all her stuff, because I thought
Dawn would phone in because she's watching.
No, I know. She's writing. I mean, she wrote on the thing.
She writes.
She writes. She was writing. But I just, Sharon, I do want to say thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for joining us. I know
I love you. I've loved you for years.
You be safe. Take care of yourself.
Oh, I just got tested. Negative.
I'm on my 5th COVID test in 2 weeks, and I'm negative. So,
God bless.
Everybody wear the masks. I know it's all controversial. I don't care what y'all say. Just fucking wear the mask.
It's not controversial. Just wear the fucking mask. There's nothing controversial about it.
You, wear the mask.
Except
our hand.
Yeah.
I mean, why the hell aren't people washing their hands anyway? I mean, so if you got to tell someone to wash your hands, fuck it. And the whole 6 feet distancing. I mean, today, everybody, this is what I had to wear all day with actors and keep my 6 feet distancing.
Can you breathe? You're okay? You're comfortable?
No, I had to walk away. I was given, because as soon as the actors are on the set without masks, the rest of us have to, because if they, God forbid, get it, then there's no show, so everyone is very precautious with the actors. So I did my first pilot today.
This is all an experiment. Good for you. Yep. Congratulations.
But I'm in my office. I'm in my fucking office. What?
That's safe for you too. I mean, if they, like you said, God forbid, they have it and you're taking their picture, they're spitting all over you. So
yeah. Because they always, my problem is I make people laugh. That's my problem. So when they laugh, there's spit. I really have to.
So you have to wear the big thing.
I'd rather wear the big fucking shield, wrap myself up in a fucking burrito or shit. But I'm in my office. I feel alive. I'm not a good work at home person. So coming in for the last week and a half, feeling like I'm actually doing my job, and I'm so dedicated that I'm actually doing my podcast from my office, and it's a mess.
Wow.
Look at how messy. This is 32 years of shit behind me.
But the reason I'm at Barney's computer and not mine, because behind mine is my desk, and it is so trashed and so high with crap that I didn't want you to see it.
Okay, this is it. This is actually frozen in time since March. I haven't even cleaned it. So, but anyway, everyone, thank you for joining us. This is Between the Sheets podcast. We're on the 1st and the 3rd Friday of every month on the United Broadcasting Network. This show, the visual show, will go on our YouTube station. We are on a million audio things, and congratulations to us. We were just added to Amazon's podcast station. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can listen to Between the Sheets as well. So
Good for you. Congratulations.
The lesbian-ish show, with a little help from our friends, is gaining momentum. So thank you all for watching. Follow me on Instagram, QTE Brat.
I had a manicure, so my nails look nice for y'all.
Me too. You have to go through the back alley, because I did.
No, we just have a little. I'm on an island that's in shutdown.
Yeah, I went to a back alley. And Between the Sheets Facebook page, please like us. Jenny, thank you so much. It's good to see your face again. I'm glad you're part of the team tonight. Where can people find you? Tell us a little bit.
JennyMcNultyFan.com. So just as you see my name right there, add fan. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday live at 1 p.m. You can see me there. And I also do Academic Password, a crazy game show. Oh, and if I may, my friends lost their home in the Santa Cruz fires. And so I'm doing a benefit show. I'm getting all my comedy buddies. I got Suzanne Westenhofer, Vicky Shaw, Dana Goldberg. I got a ton of comics. They're all going to be submitting a message to them, as well as live stuff. Don't tell them, but we got the Indigo Girls to send them a signed poster, because they used to have signed posters all over the house. So next Saturday, benefit show on Facebook, on my Facebook fan page. So Jenny McNulty Fan. It's going to be a really good show. I promise you'll be entertained and hopefully raise a little money for two wonderful nurses that their home has just been burned to the ground. So we're trying to help them out. They're wonderful people. And if you can watch next Saturday, that's next Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific.
Thank you, Jenny, for all you do and raising the visibility of proper health, proper welfare, veganism in the community. So thank you for using your voice for positive things always. And I'm proud to call you my friend. So
right back at you, Gaye Ann. Right back at you.
Cara Noble.
Yes,
what are you up to?
It's kind of the end of summer and it's time to kind of just start something else. I'm going to actually start writing a book.
Good for you. Yay.
Yeah. I'm at
God bless you.
point, though. Like where do you even begin? So I don't even know where to begin, but I got some good stories too.
I'd say, you know what you should do?
Yes.
Are you telling stories about yourself?
Yes.
I would get friends, very dear friends, have them come into your living room and sit down and tell them stories and have a tape recorder there.
Very good.
They'll ask you questions in response to stories you're telling. You'll answer them and you'll end up with a
right. People remember things that you've completely forgotten.
Yeah.
And that's always fascinating and wonderful as well. Thank you. Good. That's a very good tip. I've taken
it. So, Cara, where can people find you? Where can people find you?
Cara Noble, Facebook, Cara Noble Voice, Facebook. I'm around.
You definitely have to do your reading of your book once it's done.
Oh, I will be reading, my dear. Yeah, I will.
And Cheryl Murphy, tell us what's on your plate. Where can people tune in? What's on your plate immediately?
Gosh, well, my website, guys, is mediumcheryl.com. I just put this book out. I'm one of the authors on Amazon. It's called The Last Breath. I'm working with Thomas John just in a couple of days. We're doing a mediumship summit online with some other mediums. And then
what is The Last Breath?
The Last Breath. It's a book from many authors. We're all mediums, and it just came out on Amazon on Monday. So I've been working on a book launch all week. I've been doing this live Facebook all week. But yeah, it's The Last Breath. Thank you, on Amazon.com. And then also, just like Jenny, I'm doing a fundraiser for the fires, for the California fires. Me and two other mediums we're going to be doing readings, but all the money, all the proceeds go towards California, Oregon, helping these firemen and women out.
Tragic. It's so tragic.
Yeah. Global warming.
I got to say, truly, if no one had an anxiety disorder, 2020 is bringing it all out in all of us. I can't wait. Fucking year is over, and we're getting everything tenfold, and let's put this aside. And maybe this year it was the year of shit, but it's also the year of awareness.
Where
we all can sit here and just look around and take note out of the environment, out of how we live. I lost 35 pounds. I took a look at myself and I became a better me. And with a lot of alone time, I really looked at even the shitty part that I have and have learned to work on it and not skirt it or bury it. And again, this is a reawakening period. So as shitty as this fucked up year was, I think it was really important that we all go through it. And the best part, it was global. So everybody went through it together. And we will get through this together. Just be safe and be well. Take care of each other.
Can
And
I
it's
call
all
you later about your diet?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can. Let's all just take care of each other.
Yes.
It's important. And you know me, it's all about love, compassion, gratitude, empathy, joy and peace.
Is this Gaye Ann?
It's not about judgment, and it's not to say, people, that we don't fall into it, because we've got a pattern. And let's try and all just look a little bit within ourselves and try and break that pattern and just become better people. So on that note, I appreciate all of you joining tonight. I appreciate all of you listening. You are the gift that keeps on giving to us. And I hope, just like you make my day, I hope we put a little cheer and sunshine in yours.
Oh my God, this was wonderful.
So please be well. We'll see you in 2 weeks. I don't have a guest for 2 weeks. I don't remember. And even if I did, I'm menopausal, so I don't really quite remember. But someone good will be on. And if not, it'll just be the fucking girls, and you're going to love it. So
Annie.
Be safe, be well. And with always, I love you guys, and namaste. Be well. Thanks, Tony. Bye, Tony. Thank you.
Bye, Annie.